metrology about air pollutants which are present in the atmosphere, which causes air pollution. These are some abundance gases, atmospheric gases, which are present in the atmosphere, in which nitrogen and oxygen is present in large amount, that is about 98 to 99% of gases such as nitrogen and oxygen are present, and the gases other than nitrogen and oxygen are very minutely present in the atmosphere. Next is the Central Pollution Control Board. The Central Pollution Control Board, which is also called as CPCB of India, it is a statutory organization under the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, also known as MEFCC, that is Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. This board was established in 1974 under the Water Act 1974, that is Prevention and Control of Pollution. The CPCB is also entrusted with the powers and function which are under the Air Act, that is in 1981. It serves as a field formation, and it also provides technical services to the Ministry of Environment and Forest. This board gives technical services under the provision of Environment Protection Act 1986. It coordinates the activities of the state pollution control boards by providing some technical assistance and guidance, and it also resolves some disputes among them. This CPCB board is led by its chairperson, which is appointed by the Appointments Committee of the Cabinet of Government of India. The current acting chairman of this board is Shri Shivdas Meena, and the member secretary is Dr. Prashant Gargava. These are the current acting chairman and member secretary. CPCB has its head office in New Delhi with 7 zonal offices, and they have 5 laboratories. This board also conducts environmental assessment and research. It is responsible for maintaining some national standards under a variety of environmental laws, and this board works in consultation with zonal offices, tribal and local governments also. It has some responsibility to conduct monitoring of water and air quality and to maintain the monitoring data also. They need to maintain a proper data of particular area, of particular site. This as a agency also works with industries and all levels of government. This CPCB board advises the central government to prevent and control water and air pollution. It also advises the government of union territories on industrial and other sources of water and air pollution. There is another board which is called as the State Pollution Control Board, that is SPCB. These State Pollution Control Board are responsible for implementation of legislation relating to prevention and control of environmental pollution. They are responsible for prevention and control of environmental pollution. CPCB board also sets some standards for the air quality, and hence air quality parameters are then established according to CPCB. So our next point or next topic is air quality index. So this air quality index was launched in New Delhi on September 17th, 2014 under Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. The Central Pollution Control Board along with the State Pollution Control Board has been operating this National Air Monitoring Program, which covers 240 cities of the country and having more than 342 monitoring stations. The definition of AQI in a particular nation, it reflects the discourse surrounding the development of national air quality standard in that particular nation. Most air contaminants do not have an associated AQI. Many countries monitor ground level ozone, particulates, sulfur dioxide, carbon monoxide, and nitrogen dioxide, and calculate air quality indices for these pollutants only. Our air quality index is calculated, which is based on averages of air pollutant concentrations. And these air pollutant concentrations are measured in a full hour, in a full 8 hours, or in a full day. To calculate an hourly air quality index, we average at least 90 measured data point of pollution concentration from a full hour. Example, between 9 to 10 a.m. For example, between 9 to 10 a.m., we need to measure about 90 data points of pollution concentration. At least 18 hourly averages are used to form a daily average. There are still some limitations. Suppose there is a current lack of scientific and medical data on the effects, different levels of concentrations, and different amounts of time. Difference between 1 hour, 8 hour, and 24-hour elevation standards do not exist for all pollutants. Means all pollutants will not give data about 1 hour, 8 hour, and 24 hours. For 24 hours, for example, some pollutants will be available in the atmosphere. For 8 hours, some other pollutants will be available. And for 1 hour, some other pollutants will be available in the environment. There are some silent features of this air quality index. This air quality index is measured on the basis of 8 pollutants which are present in the atmosphere, and according to CPCB board, this index is measured according to 8, which is based on 8 pollutants such as particulate matter 10 or particulate matter 2.5 or SO2, NOx, O3, carbon monoxide, NH3 and lead. These 8 pollutants are generally measured. The unit of this AQI is microgram per cubic meter, and in case of carbon monoxide the unit is milligram per cubic meter. The AQI has been at present launched for 10 cities in India. AQI is launched for Delhi, Agra, Kanpur, Lucknow, Varanasi, Faridabad, Ahmedabad, Chennai, Bangalore and Hyderabad. These indexes are measured in these 10 cities in India. There are some standards of air quality index. how to measure the air quality index is given in this table. Each category corresponds to different level of health concern. The 6 levels of health concern and what they mean are: first is the good quality of air quality index, that is between 0 to 50. In this category, air quality is considered satisfactorily and air pollution poses little or no risk. And this category is denoted by a color that is green, dark green color. And dark green color represents that the air quality is good. Second is moderate, that is between 51 to 100, or satisfactorily we can say. In this category, air quality is acceptable. For some pollutants, there may be a moderate health concern for a very small number of people. For example, people who are unusually sensitive to ozone may experience respiratory symptoms. In this category, some health impacts will be minor breathing discomfort to sensitive people. Means there may be some sensitive people which cannot uh, be जो कि ओजोन एयर को उनके स्किन पर या किसी किसी के स्किन पर बहुत ज्यादा इफेक्ट पड़ता है ओजोन लेयर की वजह से. सो दिस air quality index which is between 51 to 100 will not be good for some people, and they may experience some respiratory symptoms also or asthmatic symptoms also. Next is the unhealthy for sensitive groups, that is between air quality index is between 101 to 150. Some general public is not likely to be affected at this AQI range. But people with lung diseases, older adults, and children are at greater risk from the exposure to ozone. Whereas some persons with heart and lung diseases or older adults and children will at greater risk from a presence of particles in the air. And this group is denoted by a color code yellow. Next, air quality index is unhealthy, that is we can say it as poor, and air quality index is between 201 to 300. Everyone may begin to experience some adverse health effect. There will be a very dangerous health effect between these air quality index. And some members of sensitive groups may experience some serious effects also. There will be a problem such as breathing discomfort to most people on prolonged exposure. And these categories denoted by orange color. Next is very unhealthy, that is very poor quality, air quality index between 300 to 400. This would be this would trigger a health alert that will signify everyone, and that will be experienced by everyone, and this will create more serious health effects such as respiratory illness or asthmatic illness. Our last air quality index is very severe, which is denoted by a red color, that is the danger sign of danger. And this air quality index is between 401 to 500. This air quality index will affect healthy people and seriously impact those with existing disease. The entire population is more likely to be affected in this category. So this was all about air quality index. The recently recorded data of AQI values in Delhi is 326, in Mumbai it was 204, and in Chennai it was recorded at 263 during the Diwali festival or Diwali season. So these was the recently recorded data of Delhi, Mumbai and Chennai. So this was all about air pollution. So our next topic is noise pollution. The syllabus which we are going to conduct in noise pollution is impact of noise, permissible limits of noise pollution, measurement of noise, and how to prevent or control noise pollution. So noise pollution is a type of energy pollution which is distracting, irritating, and damaging sounds. And these noise pollution are freely audible. The noise pollution contaminants are not physical particles, but they are in the form of waves. These waves interfere with naturally occurring waves on a similar type in the same environment. The sounds are considered as noise pollution if they adversely affect wildlife, human activity, or capable of damaging physical structure on a regular and repeating basis. So, what is noise pollution? The sound that is unwanted or disrupts one's quality of life is known as noise. When there is a lot of noise in the environment, it is termed as noise pollution. Sound becomes undesirable when it disturbs the normal activities such as working, sleeping, and during conversations. It is a major environmental problem because we can't see sound or we can't smell or taste it. That's why it is a major environmental problem. World Health Organization states that noise must be recognized as a major threat to human well-being. So the word noise, it comes from a Latin word called as noxia, which means injury or hurt. Noise is an unwanted, unpleasant, and annoying sound which is caused by vibration of the matter. The vibrations impinge on the eardrum of a human or animal and set up a nervous disturbance, which we call as sound. When the effect of sound are undesirable, then it may be termed as noise. Physically, there is no distinction between sound and noise. Sound is a sensory perception, and the complex pattern of sound waves is labeled as noise, music, speech, etc. Noise has become a very important stress factor in the environment of man. The sound waves caused eardrums to vibrate. It activates middle and inner organs and sending bioelectrical signals to the brain. The human ear can detect sound in a frequency range of about 20 to 20,000 hertz. But for most people, hearing is best in the range of 200 to 10,000 hertz. A sound is of 50 hertz frequency, for example, for a very low pitched, and a 15,000 hertz sound is very high pitched. Simply defined, if we defined noise, it is a undesirable and unwanted sound. It takes energy to produce sound. So, in a manner of speaking, noise is a form of waste energy. It is not a substance that can accumulate in the environment like other pollutants, but it can be diluted with distance from the source. All sounds come from a sound source, whether it may be radio, machine, a human voice, or it may be airplane voice or musical instrument. And not all sound is noise. Noise is measured in terms of decibel units. The unit of sound or unit of noise is decibel. Based on the type of noise, the source of noises are industrial, transport noise, and neighborhood noise. These are based on the type of noise. In industrial noise, it is caused by machines used for technical advancement. There exists a long list of source of noise pollution which includes different machines of numerous factories, industries and mills. And transport noise means the main source of transport noise is transport. Heavy automobile traffic creates unbearable noise pollution. Since industrial revolution, doubling of noise for every 10 years. The noise gets doubled in every 10 years. So these are some main sources of noise pollution. First is household sources, social events, commercial and industrial activities, and transportation noise. So in household sources, it includes gadgets like food mixer, grinder, vacuum cleaner, washing machine, dryer, cooler, air conditioner, etc. These can be very noisy and injurious to health. It it is included in household sources. Others include such as loudspeaker of sound system, TVs, iPods, earphones, etc. Some other example, maybe your neighbor's dog barking all the night every day at every shadow it sees, disturbing everyone else in the apartment. This may be a household source. Next is social event. Social event means places of worship, discourse, parties, and other social events also create a lot of noise for the people living in that particular area. In many market areas, people sell with very loud speakers. Others shout out offers and try to get customers to buy their goods. It is important to note that why these events are not often, they can be called nuisance rather than noise pollution. Next source is commercial and industrial activities. These includes printing presses, manufacturing industries, construction sites, and these contribute the noise pollution in large cities. In many industries, it is a requirement that people always wear earplugs to minimize their exposure to heavy noise. People who work with noisy equipments are required to wear noise-proof gadgets. These are compulsory for the people who are daily working with noisy equipments. Next source of pollution is transportation. In transportation, aeroplanes flying over houses close to busy airports. Next, overground and underground trains, vehicles on roads. These are constantly making a lot of noise. So these were the major sources of noise pollution. Next is the classification of noise pollution. Noise pollution is classified into two kinds. First is community noise and second is occupational noise. Community noise is also called as environmental noise or residential noise or domestic noise. It is defined as a noise which are emitted from all sources except at the industrial workplace. Except industrial noise, all the noise which are emitted from the source are known as community noise. The main source of community noise include road, rail and air traffic, then construction and public work, and the neighborhood noise also. Neighborhood noise comes from live or recorded music, from sporting event including motorsport, from playgrounds and car parks, from domestic animals such as barking dogs. These are the neighborhood noises. So under community noise, first is aircraft noise. The pollution noise from planes flying over residential area, learn in school and sleep, and consequently also result in lowered property values in affected areas. The areas which carries very heavy noise, the property values will be lowered in that particular area. As passenger volume increases and new and larger airports are built, noise is becoming very more of a concern. Second is roadway noise pollution. Roadway noise is a collective sound energy emitting from motor vehicles. In other Western countries as well as in lesser developed countries, roadway noise is expected to contribute a large share of a total societal noise pollution. Next community noise is underwater noise pollution, that is UNP. UNP is intense human generated noise in a marine environment. It is caused by use of explosive, oceanographic experiments, geophysical research, underwater construction, ship traffic, and these are used for seismic surveys for oil and related activities. So these are underwater noise pollution. Next classification of noise pollution is occupational noise, which may called as industrial noise pollution. This includes some industrial machineries and processes such as rotors, turbulent fluid flow noise, impact processes noise, electrical machines, combustion engines, drilling, crushing, blasting, compressor, etc. The emitted sound are reflected from floors, ceilings, and equipments. The occupational exposure limits specify the maximum sound pressure level, and the exposure times to which nearly all the workers may be repeatedly exposed. The occupational exposure limit of 85 decibel for 8 hours should protect most people against a permanent hearing impairment induced by noise after 40 years of occupational exposure. If some workers are working in a particular industries for about 40 years and they are daily hearing a noise of about 85 decibel for 8 hours, so a permanent hearing loss can occur to that particular worker. So in occupational noise, first is road traffic noise. This is similar. The main source of this traffic noise are motor, system of autos, smaller truck, bus and motorcycles, etc. Second is aircraft noise. Nowadays, the problem of low flying military aircraft has added to the community. Next is noise from railroads, all railroads construction noise. Rail cars or retarders can produce a high frequency, high level screech that can reach peak levels of 120 decibel at a distance of 100 feet, which translate to levels as high as 138 to 140 decibel at railroad workers' ear. The noise from the construction of highways, city street and buildings is a major contributor to urban scheme. The construction noise includes pneumatic hammers, air compressors, bulldozers noise, loaders, dump trucks and pavement breakers. These are all the noise which are in construction noise. Next is noise in building. Some apartment dwellers are often annoyed by noise in their homes, especially when the building is not well designed and constructed. In this case, internal building noise from plumbing, boilers, air conditioners, and fans can be audible and annoying. Next is noise from consumer products. Certain household equipment such as vacuum cleaners, mixer, and some kitchen appliances, blenders, etc., are noise maker of the house. Though they do not cause too much of problem, their effect can be neglected. These noise from consumer product can be neglected. Next is loudspeakers. The use of loudspeaker or public address system in function, meetings, religious places, in open areas is a source of serious nuisance. Next is firecrackers. The use of firecrackers with a high noise may harm the human hearing system, especially uh, they are sensitive for small children. Next is the measurement of noise. How we are going to measure the noise? The unit of noise is decibel. The noise is usually measured either by sound pressure or by sound intensity. We can measure it by sound pressure or we can measure it by using sound intensity. The sound intensity is generally measured in decibel, which is the 10th part of the longest unit, that is bell. Bell is the longest unit and decibel is a 10th part of that unit. Bell is named after Alexander Graham Bell. Decibel is a ratio which is expressed as logarithmic scale relative to the reference sound pressure level. The formula for sound intensity or to measure the decibel is 10 log intensity measured to the reference intensity, means I upon I0. There are some values given. If the noise is 20 decibel, it is just a whispering. If it is 40 decibel, the noise is in a quiet office. If the noise value is 60 decibel, it is a normal conversation. If it is 80 decibel, is a level at which sound becomes physically painful. These are the noise levels depending upon the type of vehicle or depending upon the daily routine. For luxury buses, it is 77. For small passenger car, for miniature passenger car, it is 79 to 84 decibel. Sports car, it is 91 decibel. For motorcycle with 4 stroke, it is 94 decibel. Motorcycle with 2 stroke, it is 80 decibel. While breathing, the noise is 10 decibel. For normal conversation, it should be 35 to 60 decibel. For office noise, it should be 60 to 80. For traffic, it should be between 50 to 90, not more than 90. And for jet fly or for Airplanes, it is about 100 to 1110 decimal. These are the levels of noise. So about the physiological disorders, there are some physiological disorders such as anxiety, hypertension, increased sweating, fatigue. Disturbance reduces depth and quality of sleep. There may be some other disorders such as increases cholesterol level, resulting in constriction of blood vessels, low weight children to mothers. Even the non-living things such as buildings undergo physical damages of cracks, breaking of windows, doors and glasses, etc. by sudden and explosive sounds. So these noise pollution also affects the non-living thing as well as living thing. So there are some health hazards which is given in this table. So if the noise intensity is 80, it is annoyance. And above 80 means if it is 90 decibel, so hearing damage can occur. If it is 110, so stimulation of reception in skin occurs. Then it is about 120 decibel, then pain threshold will occur. If it is above 120, so vomiting or nausea will occur to the human body. About 140 decibel, pain in ear will occur. And if noise intensity is above 180, then permanent hearing damage can occur to a body. These are some permissible ambient noise level in different areas. For different areas, there should be a proper maintenance of noise level. For example, in industrial area, during daytime between 6 to 9 a.m., the noise level should be 75 decibel, and during night time in industrial area between 9 to 6 p.m. it should be 70 decibel in industrial areas. For commercial areas, it should be during daytime it should be 65 decibel, and during night time it should be 55 decibel. In residential area, during daytime it should 55 decibel, during night time it should be 45 decibel. In silence zone, during daytime the noise level should be 50 decibel, and during night time it should be 40 decibel. So these are the ranges. These can be asked during the exam. This is the control of noise pollution. How can we control? We can control the noise pollution through law which is prepared by Government of India. There should be a silence zone must be created near school or hospital. Use of loudspeaker at public places should be banned, can be restricted by laws. The restriction of unnecessary use of horn and vehicles applying without, and they should not be without silencers. Restrictions can be given on aircraft flight during midnight. So by using some laws, we can minimize some noise pollution. There are some acts which are prepared to control noise pollution. First is the Air Act in 1981, that is Prevention and Control of Pollution. Second is Motor Vehicle Act, which is made in 1988. Third is Indian Penal Code. According to Indian Penal Code, Section 268 and 290, it is given the laws of noise pollution to minimize the noise pollution. There are some problems of noise pollution effect on human. So the first problem of noise pollution is hearing impairment. Hearing is essential for well-being and safety. Hearing impairment is typically defined as an increase in threshold of hearing as clinically assessed by audiometry. Audiometry is an instrument which is used to measure the hearing capacity of any person. The sound level which is less than 70 decibel does not produce any hearing damage. There is also a rule that exposure for more than 8 hours to sound level in excess of 85 decibel is potentially hazardous. 85 decibel is roughly equivalent to the noise of heavy truck traffic on a busy road. So, if any person is continuously in an exposure of more than 8 hours and the sound level is 85 decibel, so it will be really hazardous to that person's hearing quality. The WHO recommends that unprotected exposure to sound levels which are greater than 100 decibel, for example, the sound of jackhammer, it should be limited in duration of 4 hours and the frequency should be 4 times per year. The threshold for pain is usually given as 140 decibel, a level readily achieved in today's boom car. 140 decibel is a level of the boom cars. Impulse noise exposure should never exceed 140 decibel in adults and 120 decibel in children. Firecrackers, pistols, and other toys can generate sufficient sound levels to cause sudden and permanent hear lossing. So levels greater than 165 decibel even for a few milliseconds are likely to cause acute hear damage. It is important to remember to counsel patients that ears do not get used to loud noise and they get deaf. Second problem of noise pollution is it decreases the efficiency of a man. Regarding the impact of noise on human efficiency, there are a number of experiments which print out the fact that human efficiency increases with noise reduction. If there is a silence in a particular office, the worker which are working in that office or the people which are working in the silence zone, they will give their 100% to that work. But if there is a very much now noise level is very high, so a human cannot concentrate on that particular work. So the noise pollution decreases the efficiency of man. Thus, the human efficiency is related to the noise. Noise can adversely affect performance, for example, in reading, attentiveness, problem solving, and memory. Because of noise, no one can be able to read or to solve any problem. Next problem is lack of concentration. For better quality of work, there should be concentration. Noise causes lack of concentration. In big cities, mostly all the offices are on main road. The noise of traffic and the loudspeaker of different types of horns, they divert the attention of the people which are working in offices, and thus they lack in concentration during the work. Next problem is it causes mental illness. Noise pollution causes certain diseases in human. It attacks on person's peace of mind. Directly it attacks on the person's peace of mind. The noises are recognized as major contributing factors in accelerating the already existing tensions of modern living. If any person is very much stressed with his personal life or in any manner, so the noise just accelerates the already existing tension which is in the mind of the modern living. This tension results in certain disease like blood pressure or mental illness, etc. The noise may cause or contribute to the following adverse effects such as anxiety, stress, nervousness, headache, emotional instability, changes in mood. It also increases in official conflicts, neurosis, psychosis, etc. These are some adverse effects of noise pollution on human mind. Next problem of noise pollution is it causes heart attack. Noise pollution causes increase in the rate of heartbeat. It increases cholesterol level and constriction of blood vessels, which leads to blood pressure, and that results in heart attack. Noise can trigger both endocrine and autonomic nervous system that affect the cardiovascular. Immune problem. Acute exposure of noise activates nervous responses, leading to temporary increases in blood pressure, heart rate, and vasoconstriction. Next is digestive problem. Noise pollution causes digestive spasms and stomach disorders. Next problem, temporary or permanent deafness. The effect of noise on audition is well recognized. Mechanics, locomotive drivers, telephone operators, etc. all have their hearing impairment as a result of noise at a place of work. Some physicists, physicians, or psychologists are of a view that continued exposure to noise level above 80 to 100 decibel is unsafe. Loud noise causes temporary or permanent deafness. Next problem of noise pollution is aggressive behavior. The noise above 80 decibel may increase aggressive behavior. Above 80 decibel, the noise irritates a human being. There is a word annoyance. It is defined as a feeling of displeasure associated with any agent or condition to adversely affect him or her. Sometimes we used to say that the noise is very annoyance. So it means that the noise is very irritating to our ears. Next problem is effect on vegetation or poor quality of crops. Now it is well known to all that plants are similar to human beings. They are also as sensitive as man. There should be a cool and peaceful environment for their better growth. Noise pollution causes poor quality of crop in a pleasant atmosphere. So it also affects the crops and vegetations. Next is effect on animal. Noise pollution damages the nervous system of animal and animal loses the control of its mind. They become very dangerous when they hear a very irritating noise. Noise can cause stress on animals, and noise also makes species communicate louder, which is called as Lombard vocal response. Scientists and researchers have conducted experiments that shows whales' song length is longer when submarine detectors are on. On animals, increase of death by altering predator detection and avoidance. Animal loses the control of its mind. It creates problem in their use of sound in reproduction and navigation. Due to noise pollution, animals become dangerous and attacking also. So noise pollution from ship engines and sonar system make it difficult for marine mammals like whales and dolphins and prevent it from communicating, finding food and avoiding hazards. They get disturbed by these noise pollution from ship engines. Excessive noise has the ability to raise an animal's heartbeat speed and even harm an animal's metabolism. Due to this noise pollution, the heartbeat speed of animal can be raised. Next, One of the best known damage caused by noise pollution on animal is the death of certain species of bleached whales brought on by loud sound on military sonar. Due to military sonar, the death of certain species like bleached whales occurred. Next problem of noise pollution is effect on property. Loud noise is very dangerous to building, bridges and monuments. The sound pollution creates waves which struck the walls and put the buildings in danger condition. Next problem is sleep interface. Very high levels of noise can wake people from their sleep and keep them awake or disturb their sleep pattern. These noise pollution could make them irritable and tired the next day. The continuous noise is excess of 30 decibel disturbs sleep. More than 30 decibel noise can disturb someone's sleep. Next is the prevention of noise pollution. So noise prevention is a set of strategies which is used to reduce the noise pollution, such as construction of soundproof rooms for noisy machines in industries, use of horns with jarring sounds to be banned. No motor vehicle should be fitted with multifunction horn giving a succession of different note or with any other sound producing devices which gives very harsh, loud or alarming noise on other similar vehicles of such sound signals. Every motor vehicle should be fitted with a device called as silencer. Some noise producing industries, aerodromes and railway stations should be shifted away from the inhabited areas. Proper law should be enforced to check the misuse of loudspeakers and public announcement systems. Loudspeakers should be banned from 10 pm to 6 am. Growing green plants or trees along roadsides to reduce noise pollution as they absorb sound. This is the best prevention of noise pollution. To avoid noise induced hearing loss, pay attention to the noises around you and turn down the volume whenever possible. This depends upon the habit of the people. To reduce noise pollution, avoid time spent in noisy sport events. Wear adequate hearing protection such as foam, earplugs, or earmuffs when you must be in a noisy environment or when using loud equipments. We must constantly check up on the appliances we use at home. Most of them have rubber insulations that act for soundproofing, but over time, this insulation may wear out, and that is when the noise pollution will begin. Keep track of which appliances need maintenance and replace insulations if needed. Noise is also made by the escape of exhaust gases from engines. Therefore, every motor vehicle should be constructed and maintained as not to cause undue noise when in motion. So, before buying a home, see how far it is from the local airport. So, these were some prevention of noise pollution. So, be caution from today because blood pressure rises of 5 to 10 mm Hg mercury on 8 hours of exposure to even 70 decibel of sound level. Hearing loss begins at 80 to 90 decibel. 140 decibel is painful and 180 decibel can even kill a person. The amplified rock music is 120 decibel. So one should avoid this type of noise pollution. Most of the electronic vehicles and motors are above 80 decibel level. There are some symptoms of occupational hearing loss. If someone is having some symptoms, so The symptoms of hearing loss are feeling of fullness in the ear, swelling also comes sometimes. Sounds may seem muffled. One cannot hear high frequency sound. Ringing in the ear while listening to the heavy frequency sound, there will be some ringing sound in the ear. Loud noise for a long period of time or sudden burst of sound can cause occupational hearing loss. Hearing that does not return after an acute noise injury called permanent threshold shift. That is the permanent hearing loss. So there are some legislations or act prepared for this. Noise regulation rules under Environmental Protection Act. It is made in 1986. According to this act, all the range of noise level range is decided. So for industrial area or industrial purpose, maximum of 75 decibel noise level should be maintained. In commercial area, 65 decibel noise should be maintained. In residential zone, it should be 55 decibel, maximum 55 decibel and minimum of below 55 decibel. Zone of silence should be maintained in particular zone. For example, in hospitals, schools, colleges, etc. There should be a zone of silence. No public address system after 10 p.m. and before 6 p.m. This is according to the noise regulation rule under Environmental Protection Act, which is made in 1986. So these are some rules which need to be maintained. So this was all about air pollution as well as noise pollution. We are done with these two major topics. There is one topic called as municipal solid waste management, which we will going to conduct tomorrow.